Hello guys, how it's going? My name is Tatiana Saliba. I'm in the guidance and mentoring committee in Inoris International, and today I'm going to help you how to choose a research topic. So let's say you're in the hospital doing your rotations, or maybe you're at home reviewing your courses or reading an article, and you have this question bugging your mind. You really feel this unpleasant feeling or this unsatisfaction, and this is what I call a situation deemed unsatisfactory. So we usually go to research in order to find answers and to get better comprehension to our problem. But sometimes you don't find any answer to your problem, and this is what I call also a knowledge gap. Let's get you an example. For example, we have this disease D, and it has a panel of drugs, drug A, drug B, and drug C. You go to literature and you find a study comparing drug A to drug B, another comparing drug B to drug C, but you don't find any study comparing drug A to drug C. And so this is a knowledge gap. So before choosing your research topic, let's talk a little. You should really be interested. The domain, the theme, the topic should spike your interest. You don't need to get bored because this research may accompany you from months to years. And it's normal to get into knowledge base about the research topic. But most importantly, you should formulate a preliminary research question. And I'll explain to you later how to go from knowledge gap to a research question. But before, you have really good sources around you that will help you choose your research topic. For example, it can go from observations and professional experiences. For example, during your rotations, you could observe the patient's behavior and their families during a crisis. This is an example of a good idea. Lectures on research results, for example, webinars, seminars, congresses, could help you spark new ideas. Previous work, you can go from previous work. For example, you can repeat a study using a different environment or a different target population. You can go from theoretical and conceptual frameworks such as stress, adaptation, or you can go from priorities. For example, right now the priority is COVID-19, the novel coronavirus with its vaccines and its new variants. Or for example, another example, getting a vaccine for HIV. So, how to go from knowledge gap to research question? Well, putting up a research question in a very well-mannered and expressed clear way is very important because this question should justify the knowledge gap that has not been answered in literature and could refine the future research objective. But you'll ask me, Tatiana, what is a research question? Well, a research question is a clear and unambiguous interrogative statement that specifies key concepts, specifies the population, targets, and suggests empirical investigation. Well, in a simpler way, it's a question that will specify the problem, that will locate the problem in the context of current knowledge. For example, is drug A better than drug C in curing patients with the disease D? Here in this question, this is a good research question. It can curing the patient with the disease D. Patient with the disease D should be the population. The key concept is comparison, and the investigation is comparing drug A to drug C in curing the disease. Which one is better? So this is an example of a question, research question, but we have several types. For example, the first type is an exploratory question. It has a descriptive answer because we're exploring. It's one concept. We have little to no writing in the field. You're asking who, what are the factors. You're just like discovering new things. While the second type of question is a correlational question. It has also a descriptive answer. You don't have any hypothesis and you try to discover a possible relationship between factors and variable. And here you ask yourself, does it exist? What does exist? While the third type of question is also correlational, but it has an explicative answer. And here you have hypotheses and you try to verify an association between variables. But here You make no attempts in controlling the environment and manipulating anything. If you want to control the environment, you go to the fourth type of research question. Here you verify hypotheses, but here you introduce an external condition and its effects are measured, and here we're doing an experiment, and this is why it's an experimental question. So, but is your research question really a knowledge gap? So you try to research your question. You should try to research if your question has not been answered in literature before. And textbook can be helpful to familiarize with the subject, but most importantly, in literature research, because it's really mandatory before beginning a study to do this research. What if your question has been answered? Your research is not valid anymore because it has been done before. So literature research is performed in biomedical databases such as PubMed, Embase, or PMC. PMC is the free version of PubMed, but they are all good. We have also Scopus and other biomedical databases that could be helpful researching the question you want. So there are a list that you should not do. There are questions that you should avoid, so I made you this little poster here to know. Don't do guys, questions relating to judgment or ethical and moral issues, values issues, or daily common question. Let's give you an example. Is abortion on demand better than the contraceptive pill to prevent pregnancy? Well, why is this question not good? Well, first, it calls for opinions, so it's a question relating to judgments. People would judge abortion good, some people would say no, and this is what brings me to my second point, that it's an ethical dilemma. In some countries, abortion is illegal, and in other it is legal, and so it uses also the value system. Guys, you should remember something. You always remember that you are doing a scientific research. You are not doing an opinion research here. A scientific research by definition is objective, so hang on this information, please. Okay, so before diving into your study topic, your research topic, you should have practical consideration to really think through all the project. You should ask yourself several questions. First question to ask yourself, is it relevant today? Your research question is relevant. Can the project be realized? And by that, we mean that, is it feasible? Do you have the available funds? Do you have, is it ethical? Is the target population, is it available to you? Is this question significant? So, is it important for your field? Does it improve any knowledge, or is it non-significant? So is this question operational? And by operational here we mean, is it observable and measurable? So in order for you to really remember these questions, I found this mnemonic that you can use, which is FINER. So FINER, the F is for feasibility, I for interest, N for novelty, and E for ethics, and lastly R for relevance. So FINER, remember always FINER when you do the practical considerations. But keep in mind, guys, when you select your research topic and the proposed method is needs maybe human subjects or organs or tissues, it should be always, you should ask for permission. So for example, an ethical review board, and your goals with the proposed design must meet the ethical standards. If it does not meet the standards of ethics, you cannot realize your project. And your research should be relevant and mainly aim to improve knowledge in order to enhance patient health and contribute to society. Your main goal while doing your research should be the patient care and really getting better in science. So to do a little recap, we started by a problem based on experience, and then we did an initial investigation and review of literature related to this issue. We formulated a research question, but most importantly, we should review every and evaluate every possibilities and practicalities, because if you don't evaluate the possibilities and practicalities, you cannot really dive into your topic. So guys, a little summary here. Choose summary and tips. So choose the research area and link it to a pivotal question. Write ideas about the problematic situation. So get with your friends, with your colleagues, with your comrades and ask questions. Discuss in order to help and clarify the thinking. Do some discussions. Ask for help. Ask questions. It's really important to get really clear. And then consult literature to determine the state of knowledge. If you know a lot, your question is no more relevant. If you don't know anything, yeah, go for it. So assess feasibilities, relevance, and significance. Here, remember the mnemonic FINER, and then you could write your research question. Lastly, guys, please strive to clearly explain your approach in choosing your research topic, and ask for help if you need it. You could ask really people experience in the research method to really strengthen your approach to the selection of research subject. Well, I finished here, guys, today. You could follow Inoris International on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can follow me also on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you want to ask any question, you can send me an email. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.